what's going on, guys? So today we're talking about the best selling cards under $5 or less. So Yu-Gi-Oh! Penny Stock Market Watch. Now you might notice I have a headset on and the backdrop's different. I am actually on vacation right now with my family. Decided to post the Yu-Gi-Oh! Penny Stock Market Watch. The regular Market Watch will be on Friday as well. We'll actually spend that talking a little bit more about Duelist Nexus, like almost exclusively about Duelist Nexus. But let's jump into it with the best-selling card for Duelist Nexus being Emperor Charles the Great. So a lot of Infernoble stuff has come out. Let's actually take a look at that first. Let's see what's down here. Because Infernoble has kind of been, and if you are a subscriber to the show, you've heard this sort of idea that I'm about to say before. But a lot of what Yu-Gi-Oh! Decks are nowadays are sort of like kitchen sink type decks, where it's like we throw everything in the kitchen sink in it, right? Like take dragons for example. Like dragons run like Chaos, Dragon Levier, Striker Dragon, Borrelode, Dragoonity Romulus, the Hieratic Seal Link monster, the Bestial stuff. There's just this wild mixture of ensemble of that, which is why Dragon Link has been a very formidable deck, honestly, since the Rocket Structure deck, because that was kind of what brought it to that level. And Dragons have had a lot of support over the years and are going to continue to get a lot of support, but so has Warrior. And Infernoble is kind of what brought that into this generation, where Infernoble deck, if you look at an Infernoble deck, like I'm sure we can find one if we click on this card. We cannot. But if we look at an Infernoble deck, you know, you won't just see Infernoble cards. I guess we can click on this card because it's a penny stock. Right, like this is from May of 2022, and it's literally Phantom Knight Infernoble with Armageddon Knight, Neospacian Aqua Dolphin, a Violent card for some reason, Theron King Regulus. Not sure how this comes out. Fairy Tale Snow, because that was out for a format. Flyer Flint Lady, right? So this sort of idea of like warrior dot deck, right? That's kind of what Infernoble is. So I was just curious to see what the Infernoble cards are looking like. None of them are too overly expensive still, which is nice. But if we take a look at this card, I actually haven't read this card. This card's link summoned. You can target an Infernoble Knight Emperor Charles in your graveyard. What is this? I know what cards do. I don't usually know their name. Oh, okay, it's a Synchro. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. I gotta figure too. In this graveyard, this card's name becomes that, and the effect becomes that. Then equip that to target to this as an equip spell. That gives it 500 attack once per turn. When a spell or trap or effect of a spell or trap is activated, you can set an equip spell from your hand. That's pretty cool. Or face up on the field of the graveyard and negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. It's 3K, link rating of 1. It needs the Synchro monster we were just talking about. That's a unique idea to have a link 1 monster with a literally a card's name on it. That's very interesting. But I really like this card. I think this card is a solid buy. If you can get it for less than not $4, I don't know if I'd pay over 4 at this time. Because this card just came out and still going down, but it could go up a little bit to above 5. Just depends on how good Infernobles are. Because even though Infernoble is just like warrior deck, doesn't mean that it's been like literally that deck we just looked at was from a year ago or a little bit over. Reveal 1 fusion monster from your extra deck, special summon fusion material from your extra deck or on that monster from your extra deck or graveyard, but until the end of your opponent's turn it can't attack or activate its effects. I mean, there's definitely a way to abuse that. That's kind of crazy. I'm trying to think, because this was obviously for the whatchamacallit, Chimera archetype that just came out. Lars, really interesting. But like the Chimerian archetype that just came out, support for. I can't find it right now for that card, but I'm trying to think of another deck that can really utilize this super duper well. Um, because negating its effects and it can attack are pretty big. Um, Obviously, this can tutor out Alistair the Invoker. This can tutor out Fallen of Albas. Um, but I don't know if that's really that great. This can tutor out Elemental Hero Neos. That's probably one of the better things I think it can bring out. Obviously, like Blue Eyes, Dark Magician, um, different cards like the Red Eyes as well. Just the OG cards there. Different Elemental Heroes. So there's a lot that this card can do. This card feels similar to what was it? I think it's like Time Thief Redoing, or the card that says, like I said, I don't know names, I know effects. You can't activate monster effects, but you could draw two, and you could normal summon twice for the rest of the duel. That card, and like Small World as well, where like this card is waiting for an interaction that's going to blow this card up, right? As far as in terms of price. And when we look at a card like this, the interaction might already exist. Like this card's only been out for a couple of weeks, right? So I mean, and these are the pre-sales. It's really only been out for a week, right? So like people, I mean, they have been playtesting. Obviously, EDO Pro, right? OCG, like we could see what we could kind of do with this, but once it's really in our hands and we're playtesting, messing around with it on the dueling books and on the EDO Pros or even IRL at our locals and different things like that, and hanging out with our friends and trying to figure that stuff out, or by ourselves and trying to figure that stuff out, we really can't get the full aspect of this. There are just a lot of targets for this card. Now, it's unfortunate it doesn't summon from the deck, because that would make this card a lot better. But still, Graveyard or Extra deck is really, really good. So I think this is definitely a buy. But I would wait on spending more than $4 on this card because it could take a second for it to get to where it needs to get to. Let me reread Lars. Your opponent activates a card or effect. It's funny that this is just generic. Like that's the problem with the other two Evil Czar Xyz monsters. Is the fact that no, it's not there. Is the fact that like they're just generic. So Lagia and Dolka just get used in dinosaurs. They're not like generic, but you know what I mean. But while this card has material, your opponent cannot target it with monster effects. Your opponent activates a card or effect. This is a quick effect. You can detach two materials for this card, or just one if it has a reptile or dinosaur. Then target one face-up card your opponent controls. Negate the effects. It's 2,500, 1,500 attack. Virtual Worlds can definitely run this card. Dinosaurs were kind of leaning towards the level 6. I'm pretty sure the dinosaur monster that they run is a level 6 dinosaur. The normal monster. It's a target for ground Xeno. I can't think of a reptile deck off the top of my head that could utilize this card, other than of course Evilsaur, right? And so the fact that it's generic means that there's a lot of different plays that this card can make, and yeah, like I said, Virtual World's one of the archetypes that definitely comes to mind. I'm trying to think of another one off the top of my head because I feel like there's another level 6 spam archetype that I'm forgetting. That's relatively solid, but not like the best. But yeah, that's interesting. As far as whether or not this card's a good buy, I think it's a great buy. I think that this is another card that could see a lot of play. It's only going to ever be a one of though. I mean, I guess I could see Evilsaur running this at more than one, but I don't think that deck's gonna be very good, unfortunately. And if you're waiting for Evilsaur to be good, I don't think so. I was looking at the cards, messing around with it. I don't think it's gonna be very good. I think like Volcanics, even the Guardian, even like the Chimera stuff, Infernoble stuff, like that's the stuff to get from Duelist Nexus. I'm not sure about that though, but could be fun though for sure. So that could make it a really good buy. But actually don't even know. You can send one level 5 or higher normal monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard. Special summon this card from your hand. And it increases level by 1. So it's Blue Eyes support. No, it is not. It's level 6. That's wild. So it's not Blue Eyes. It's Dark Magician support. as well as Red Eye support, which is interesting. Like, I think Konami's doing this on purpose because like Joey's ace is Red Eyes, Yugi's ace is Dark Magician, and the two of them love playing together, so that's why their decks work well together. Because like Red Eyes Dragoon, right? What's that card at right now? Because I think that card's a penny stock. Really could use another printing of this. Yeah, it's not a penny stock. But just to look at it real quick to see the materials, Dark Magician and a Red Eyes Black Dragon, or any dragon effect monster following Volbas, right? Um, but during the main phase, except turn, this card was set to the graveyard. I don't know why in 2023 these clauses are still on cards. Because there's so many cards that don't have these clauses that like when a card has this clause, it just makes it so much worse. And the reason why I'm so frustrated is because like Dark Magician, when played correctly, is a relatively decent deck that can get you a couple of wins. And you're not going to win your locals, but you could get your money back for entering the tournament, which means the packs are free. You could get store credit for getting second or third if your matchups are okay. And you could just have a good time. And like Blue Eyes, for what it is, has a lot of really cool interactions. And if your opponent doesn't know how to play against it, which everybody knows how to play against it, but if your opponent doesn't, or if your opponent misplays against it, or if they just brick, Blue Eyes can do some crazy good things. Red Eyes, it just feels like it can't. And like, this card's insane if it just says, during your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard, add one Red Eyes Fusion from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Because obviously there's Red Eyes Spirit. Obviously there's like Keeper of the Dragon Magic, I think is its name. And the Predaplant card that searches Red Eyes Fusion. But this deck really could use one for Red Eyes Fusion to be better. Because the fact that Red Eyes Fusion is so just like bad. Like, let's look at Red Eyes Fusion for a second. Like, I just don't like, because of those first generation Yu-Gi-Oh cards, like, or Yu-Gi-Oh decks, like Harpy. I do like Harpies a lot, but like Harpies, insects with like the Insect Queen, dinosaurs kind of, but like Toons, especially Blue Eyes, Dark Magician, Valkyrie, cards from that show, or decks from that show. Red Eyes is kind of the worst, or it's definitely around there. And like a card like this, which is the most expensive version, they're all penny stocks, right? It's very easy to build this deck. But the Clash of Rebellion is the very first time, the very first printing. It's sitting at about $1. I would say it's not a good buy, even with the new Red Eye support. You could argue, because of the new Red Eye support, that this is a good buy. I mean, it does tutor out Dragoon. That's right. I forgot about that. I didn't even think about running this with a Labyrinth. Right, like, that's the thing. Like, you might see a card like Red Eyes Fusion and go, "Oh, well, Red Eyes Fusion's a great card because it was used in the meta all the time." No, it was used in the meta all the time because of Predaplant Verite Anaconda, which could do this without this. And if that's just taken off, like, yeah, this card's probably busted, especially because Dragoon is a target, like I said. But, and it says from the deck, or hand, or the side of the field, which is pretty crazy as well. But the fact is, so does like Shaddoll Fusion, so does like Neos Fusion, so does like Branded Fusion. Like, take a look at a card like this, and take a look at a card like Branded Fusion, Fusion Destiny. There's like, and this was like, I think, and the reason for it is like, this was the first spell that was really like that, other than Shaddoll Fusion. Shaddoll Fusion was the first spell that was like that, but your opponent had to have an extra deck monster, right? Red Eyes Fusion was the first spell that's like, regardless of what your opponent has on their board, you can send cards from your deck. So let's make sure we make this card absolutely terrible. And yeah, it was used with Subterror because it tutors out Dragoon, and you can use it in Labyrinth if you just decide, you know what, I'm literally just not gonna play any monsters other than Lady Lovely. And I don't know if that's the correct way to play Labyrinth. Like, I guess you can. This was from March of this year, YCS Lima. You just run like a bunch of crazy trap guards, and then Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. No one's going to be expecting that in Labyrinth for sure. But even with the new Red Eyes support, which I don't think they got a lot of new Red Eyes support, I don't think that this card or Red Eyes Fusion's a good buy, unfortunately. Um, yeah, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I just really like Red Eyes, and I don't know why it sucks. I don't know why Red Eyes drew the short stick. Another rooted card. During your main phase or your opponent's battle phase, you can target a face-up monster your opponent controls, banish both that and this. Um, if a card is added from the main deck to your opponent's hand, except during the damage step, you can special summon a runic token in attack position. It kind of sucks actually that's an attack position. Like it has to be an attack position. As weird as that sounds, because you wouldn't think that that kind of thing matters. But this effect is only going to happen, probably only going to happen during your opponent's turn. Like I guess like if Max C, or Shared Ride are active, which like Max C is banned. You're probably not going to get a lot of use out of tokens. I mean, you could do something with the token. I don't know. I can't really think of anything with the second effect. That first effect is pretty solid though. And Runic is a really good archetype, like a really really good archetype. So it's holding the line here. Coin flip TCG. It's holding the line here at $4.99. So didn't mean to click on that. So and Down for Cards has one for $4.99. Once these are gone, it's no longer a penny stock. So I mean, like this, you be careful though, like of buying it out because this person's 40 cents more expensive at 149 copies, and I'd assume the next page isn't much different. Yeah, so 550 seems to be the good price. So if you can get it for that 499 price, this is probably a good card to go ahead and get. But I don't think it's gonna be super duper expensive because it's not like that great. But it's not terrible either, right? Without any stretch of the imagination. I'm trying to see what other cards like just randomly popped up in here. Imperial and Noir, 2 level 2s. Once returning, discard card, target card your opponent controls, or up to 2. If it has Sleepy Memory as material, return them to the hand. And then you can activate a quick place. You can activate a Pearly quick play spell card. You can attach, when you activate, you can attach it, right? So it's got that Pearly effect to it too. That's pretty good. No, that's really good. It's not a quick effect, but bouncing is so good as far as a form of removal. Unfortunately, though, it does say target. And Yu-Gi-Oh 2023. That's just easy to play around. I think Pearlies will run this card, just to mess around with it. I don't know if it's going to become an extra deck staple though, because the extra deck's starting to get a little tight for Pearlies with this card. But with that being said, if you wanted to like try to Cardboard Castle, buy 8 copies of this card. I have something else still in the cart, as is tradition. The triple text. So much stuff in the cart. Okay, let's just get rid of all. Oh yeah, just send it. So you buy this $24.80, and it becomes a $5 card. That's $40. That's $16 profit. Lunch is on you type of thing, or maybe at least you buy yourself lunch, and you qualify for free shipping. Could it become a $5 card within the next 3 months? It just depends on how good Pearlies are, and it depends on how much this card gets played. I will say I don't think Pearly is good enough to get hit by the ban list again. So this could end up being like late fall after the next ban list. I don't know when the next ban list is going to be, but like late fall after the next ban list, Pearly could be better, but it might just get power crept out of the format because that's just kind of how things are nowadays. Decks are good for about a year. They get hit by the ban list. Even if they don't get hit hard, it's fine. They're going to get power crept soon anyway. So I don't think this card will be $5 in the near future, but it could be. I don't really know Pearlies well enough to say they will or will not run that card. A lot of Infernoble stuff here. This is the last thing I really wanted to take a look at. Was just like this archetype in general. Because I actually don't hate it. I bumped into a branded version of this archetype. I truly really liked it. This sort of like Chimera thing. Chimera fusion type thing. It's level 4. If it's sent to the graveyard as fusion material, you can add an illusion monster when you deck to your hand, which is like all of them. And it's just interesting too. This graph is very interesting. Like to already be going up. Like, if you guys are paying attention to like just about every other card we looked at, it was like pre-sale value actually came out, hit the ground, and is still there because this set just came out on Friday, or it was just available to the masses on Friday. And this card is already starting to go up in value. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if this card's like $1.50 by the end of the week type thing, right? And then when we look at Chimera Fusion is about 69 cents, something like that. I think let's just do this actually. If we click on that link for no reason at all, let me see if I can do this right. I think it's just called Chimera Fusion deck, right? Yes. This is Salmon Great. Why in the world did that come up? Okay, so now we gotta do. Did I spell Chimera wrong? I did not. I felt like I should. I usually do, but like, Chimera, the Flying Mythical Beast. I mean, there's places to get. Let me just do this. And this is something interesting. Like, we always use TCG Player as a way to identify the market, or to look at the market. Okay. But there are a lot of places you can go to get Yu-Gi-Oh cards. It doesn't just have to be from TCG Player or eBay, which are the two that I like to use the most. Off the top of my head, though, I can't remember who sells. Illusion Deck is what it's called. Okay. So this comes with, for $30, you get 3 Nightmare Magicians, 3 Chimera King of the Phantom Beast, 3 big. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 8 cards times 24. So it's almost over $1 card. So it's called the Illusion Deck. Let me see if I can actually find it now. Granted, we could have. Ooh, okay. But see, this is missing some stuff. This is missing some, because there was 8 cards here. I don't know what card's missing, but this is missing some stuff, and it's sold out right now. That's crazy. But anywho, $10 isn't bad to mess around with this. Like, I don't think this is the full bundle. The full bundle's not. No way. The full bundle's worth $100. There's Fusion Armaments in here. I'd assume most of these cards are relatively cheap, though. I don't think it's worth $100. That's not bad then, though, because what was missing from these two? Like, if we look at this one, which is $100, the 2 fusion monsters are in this, versus the 1 fusion monster. So, and then that's Nightmare Magician. Those 3. I don't see Nightmare Magician either. So Nightmare Magician's missing, because those 3 and this card are here. So we're missing Fusion Armament, which is about like a $3 card, the Fusion Monster, Chimera King of the Phantom Beast, and Nightmare Magician. And so if we actually just go back to TCG Player, and try to find Nightmare Magician. So this is a $15 card. Really? What does it do? Does it do something cool? This card is used so you can activate one random card of your opponent's hand. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's not that great though. During the end phase of your turn, during your opponent's turn, you banish this card. It's not like that. Why is this a $15 card? Okay. So actually, maybe it is worth $100. Doesn't feel like it. I mean, it's $45. What was the other one that was missing? Nightmare Magician. Because there's 9 here and there's 6 here. So I'm just trying to see, would it be cheaper to get this bundle, or would it be cheaper to get this bundle and then go to TCG Player? and get it from like kind of do a mixture. So, and you obviously, with getting multiple cards from TCG Player, you try to find the same exact seller, but sometimes it's hard. This has a quarter century rare. Interesting. Anywho, if this card battles, the player takes any damage. Take control. Okay. Can it be destroyed by battle? That's not bad though. That's definitely not that bad. For this being a battle effect's not that bad. But anyway, $6. So we're looking at 18 plus the 45, which is 63. So $73 if you go with this. And then $100 if you go with this. We have Fusion Armament. What was that? Like a $3 card. So even if you got if you got this core plus the 3 cards that were missing from TCG Player, at least at the lowest, it should be better value than just getting this core out directly. But I actually, even though I don't think this card is a $15 card, it probably will be for a while. I actually do think this deck is pretty solid. When run with the right archetype, I don't think it's good on its own, but it's not too bad as a helpful fusion-based archetype. But let me know what you guys think. What are the best-selling cards under $5 or less, or just any cards in general? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you guys click that like button, show your support for the channel, subscribe for more content. Most importantly of all, have a good day.